Hey guys, and welcome back to another Games I Bought Recently, and today is Games I Bought Recently episode 9. It's been a while since my last Games I Bought Recently, so I've got a bit of stuff here, around 30 games to get through, so might as well get started with the biggest thing here, and that is the new console, PlayStation 4, that was just recently released in November. I made a video about this, some unboxing, and just basically what I did on the launch day. So I'm liking it. I'm liking the PS4. I mean, it hasn't wowed me as much as this may have wowed some other people. The OS is it's okay. I liked the PS3's one, so I never really had a problem with it. Didn't really see what they had to improve. It's okay. I just don't like how it's a little cluttered, where each game you put in, it now like installs a picture to the bottom part of the screen, which is what they did with the Vita. But I think with the Vita it works just a little bit better. But other than that, you know, it's fast, good machine. Yeah, just really good for games. I haven't tried out the share features yet, but basically on the gaming front, it's really great. And I got PlayStation Plus, so I got a couple games with that I'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, I could only afford one game for the PlayStation 4 at the time, and I don't know if my choice was a good or a bad one, but I picked up Knack. And to be honest, I started off really enjoying Knack. I mean, the cutscenes really impressed me with it, because it's in-game graphics in the cutscenes, but they kind of look like they're rendered in CG, but they're not, which is really impressive. And the cartoony graphics are excellent, and I love the characters in this game. I love the story. I think that all stands up really well. Well, it doesn't stand up as much as well as the rest of the elements of the game is the gameplay, because it's kind of like, well, it's tough for one. And it's kind of aimed towards kids, you know, with this kind of kiddie style, visual art style, and the characters and stuff. But it's tough in the sense that it's merciless, like say an old NES game, like the old Castlevania or Ninja Gaiden on the NES. Like you'll be beating up one character, one enemy, and then you'll another enemy will come up behind you and just punch you in the back, and that'll take like half your health. But the checkpoints are, they're not too bad, so it can get frustrating, but the checkpoints are alright. But honestly, what I thought this would be a great platformer like Crash Bandicoot or something. Because I mean, Mark Cerny was overlooking the game, the one who was a producer on Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, so I thought it was going to be another one of those. Unfortunately it wasn't, it was more of a beat 'em up style game. And then a mediocre one at that. So Knack's an okay game. It's got enough good elements in it that if they did a sequel, and the flaws, they can be easily improved, just like turn down the difficulty a little bit, and you know, add in more platforming sections, and it could be a great game. So if they released a sequel to Knack, I'd be on board. If that one flops, then I'm done with the series. But I did kind of enjoy this one. It was just unfortunate I couldn't pick up any other games for it. But I did get PlayStation Plus, which so that I could play Resogun and Contrast, and they're both great games. Resogun, you know, is really impressive. Shoot 'em up game like Super Stardust, an arcade shooter, and it was really fun. I played it with my brother, and I actually really enjoyed the game. Contrast was also a really fun game. It was like a platformer style game, but with a really cool art style. Like you play as a girl who can blend into shadows, and all the other characters are shadows. I thought it had a great story. But it was a bit glitchy, and actually I couldn't finish the game because there was a game-breaking glitch towards the end. It just wouldn't let me pass. Not very visually impressive, I must say. Could have been done on the older consoles because you can see a lot of popping and stuff. In fact, I think it is actually on PS3. It's probably the same version on PS3 and PS4. But a really great game. I did enjoy it despite some of the glitchiness, and the graphics were good, but there was a little bit of popping. Didn't bother me, but I just noticed that we're not at that point in gaming yet where it's completely immersive like every game. Moving on, I picked up The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, and I know this is going to be a sinful thing to say, but I have not yet played it. And the reason that is because for a while I've been doing a Zelda complete series run through from the first game, and I've only got up to Minish Cap at the moment. So this game, it's going to have to wait, which sucks because I hear it's one of the best Zeldas for a very long time, and one of the best 3DS games, and one of the best games to come out from last year. So I can't wait to actually jump into this, and when I do, I think I'm going to do a review of the game, just so I can give you some impressions on it, because I'm such a big Zelda fan that I really want to tell you guys just how great or not great this game is. So when it comes to it, I'll do a review when I eventually get around to it. But speaking of Zelda, I just last finished off Wind Waker HD. So the next game on the list was Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, and I picked up here the bundle that comes with the game and the link cable. And this bundle is actually pretty expensive, like in this packaging and everything. I mean, you can get the game. The game is around £40 to £50, and then you can buy another cable, and you can get it a lot cheaper than what I got this for. But anyway, the game is so fantastic. I loved this game when I was a kid. I actually got it as a child. It was one of my first Zelda games. Not my first 2D one. That was Minish Cap. The single player in this game is pretty good. You use the Game Boy Advance, and when you go into houses or caves and stuff, you go onto the Game Boy Advance screen. Something you'd imagine that you'd find on a Wii U. So this was like the Wii U done like 10 years before, or sometime around there. But the game's a lot of fun. It's level based, which I think it's the only level based Zelda. The puzzles aren't as challenging as in other Zeldas, and even the dungeons, like there's 7 or 8 levels, I can't remember, and then there's a dungeon in each level, and they're pretty a little dumbed down compared to some Zeldas, so to make the multiplayer of it a little easier. And it's pretty good though. You get temporary items. You can't carry a bunch of items around, and every level you start off with low health, and you start from scratch basically, and you have to work your way up towards the end of the level. So a really fun kind of arcadey type Zelda game. The multiplayer in this game is really great as well. It takes a lot of commitment because you have to have 4 cables and 4 Game Boy Advances. But if you do get around to playing it, it's really fun because each player has their own. Whenever they go into a cave, they'll appear on their Game Boy Advance screen, and it's cooperative, but then you've also got to work to get the most force gems in a level, and it's just, the multiplayer in this game is so much fun. If you ever get a chance to play it, Zelda 4 Swords Adventures is one of the most fun multiplayer games, and I definitely recommend it, even though it's a high price point to access, but if you can, I'd definitely check it out. And then after I finished that game, I picked up Zelda Minish Cap, which is my first ever Zelda game, believe it or not, because when I used to collect the Nintendo magazines, and back then I wasn't really into, so I was more into just like Pokemon and Mario, but then I wasn't even into Metroid or that stuff. I was really young, but then I started seeing advertising for this game, and I was like, oh, it's getting really good reviews. It looks okay. I mean, I wasn't that big into adventure games at the time, but I picked it up along with Mario vs Donkey Kong, and I actually ended up playing this a lot more. And it's such a fantastic game. I love the elements where you use your cap, and his name's Eslo, I think. Yeah, and you can turn into a Minish, which is like a tiny person, and then you use that to solve mechanics in dungeons and stuff. So much fun. And this game's also made by Capcom, like the Game Boy Color Oracle games were. And again, it's got that Capcom type feel. It's a little easier than most Zelda games, so if you're thinking of starting to get into Zelda, I definitely recommend Minish Cap. It's such a great game. I love the story, I love Vati, the villain. This is one of the earliest in the timeline, and I cannot recommend Minish Cap enough. It's very hard for me to say whether this is my favourite 2D Zelda game, because Link to the Past is so good, but I really love this game as well for nostalgia value, and just because it was my first Zelda. You can't beat your first Zelda game. So I really enjoy Minish Cap, and if you haven't played it, this is one of the more obscure titles. I definitely check out Minish Cap. It's excellent. Moving on to some DS games, I picked up Aliens Infestation. I only played a little bit of this, but it's like a Metroidvania type game set in the Aliens world, and I have watched a couple Aliens movies, and they're good. I'm not a massive fan of them, but I think I do enjoy them. They are good films, and this game's really great as well in the fact you start with 4 characters, and if they die, they're gone. So you really get attached to the characters as well, and they all have different personalities and stuff. And I haven't played too much of this, but I can't wait to go back and check out more of it, because it looks really good. And I'm a huge fan of Metroid, so any Metroid style games, definitely up my alley. I also picked up Polarium for the DS, which is a launch title for the DS, and one of the first puzzle games on the DS. And I love puzzle games on the DS. I love the whole touchscreen aspect of the games. And this game is really simple. All you have to do is turn the black squares white, and then it'll fall in line. But it's simple, but it gets tough. Like, I suck at this game, and I'm usually quite good at puzzle games. So, but I had fun enjoying. I enjoyed playing this game. It was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll play it some more. Not one of my favourite DS puzzle games, but still a good one. And now I've got WarioWare Do It Yourself. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this game. I love the WarioWare series, but this game, the built-in games, micro games, are not as fun as some of the other ones. Not like Touched on the DS or even the Game Boy Advance one. It's something, I don't know, it's just not really there. But then you have the option to create your own mini games, which it's okay. It's a little simple, and the mini games, they're not always like exactly what you want. You can't create exactly what you want, but you can finish off like in-game mini games that are like just by drawing something on them, and to make it a little personal. It's okay, but I'm not a huge fan of like creation stuff because I'm not that good at it. But I haven't gone online yet and downloaded some other ones, but I'm sure you can go online and download other people's mini games, or if you've got a friend who's got the game, you can transfer it between DS's, and I'm sure that's good. I always like enjoying other people's created content rather than making it myself, because I'm usually not that good at that stuff. Next up, some 3DS stuff. I got Sonic Generations on the 3DS, and this is one of my favourite games for Xbox 360. So I also heard good things about the 3DS version. And what I do love about this game is that it includes different levels. Like you get Radical Highways from Sonic Adventure 2, the Mushroom Hill Zone, I think it's called, from Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles. You know, they've all got the remixed music and stuff. That's my favourite thing about these games, is the remixed tracks. The levels are really good as well, though. The gameplay wise, Classic Sonic plays just like Classic Sonic on the 360, but then for some reason he learns the homing attack, so the gameplay changed up a little bit. Modern Sonic is still in 2D, it's not in 3D, so he plays more like Sonic Rush, which I love those games, and I think the gameplay in this game is just as good as Sonic Rush. Also, the special stages from Sonic Heroes are put in this game, which is great because I love those. But the level design kind of falls flat because for some reason there's like holes all over the place, and you'll just be running into them so much more than you will on the console versions. I don't know why. It just kind of didn't get the level design completely spot on like it does in some Sonic games. But still a great game. I'd check it out if you're a fan of the 360 or PS3 versions, or PC versions even. And I also got Rhythm Thief, and this is like the most deceptive game ever because I played a demo, and you play rhythm-based mini games, which is absolutely, I love rhythm games, and I love the demo of this, so I picked it up, and then I've only played a couple of rhythm games in it. It's more of a point-and-click adventure game, and the point-and-click adventure sections take up more time than the actual rhythm does. But still, excellent game. I really enjoy the anime-style cutscenes and the anime characters. The art design is top-notch, and the rhythm games are fun. And the point-and-click sections, although they take up the majority of the game, they're also great. So I really recommend this for 3DS owners. Excellent game. I don't count this game to my total number of games because it's not actually it came with a download code, so the game's not actually in it. But I picked up Pokemon Rumble U on Wii U, which comes with these little toys. It's like Skylanders or Disney Infinity for Pokemon. It comes with, I got a Mewtwo and a Black Kyurem with mine, which is pretty cool. But you don't need the toys, and to be honest, the toys don't really do much because you put them in and then they end up being the same level as some of the characters you can unlock anyway. So the toys are a little pointless. They're a fun collectible nonetheless. The game itself is very simple, very simple. All you do is run around an arena for about 5 minutes and smash the A button to attack the Pokemon, and then you can collect more Pokemon and stuff, and then you go into more battles, and that's the entire game. And honestly, it is a bit too simple. This game's getting really bad reviews, but it's not as bad as the reviews say, because I played it multiplayer with some of my younger siblings, and we had so much fun just, mashing the enemies with the Pokemon that we had and collecting the Pokemon. A lot of fun. So it is a good game. I like it. It's probably not that fun single player, and I can see why it got bad reviews, but it's not bad. Pokemon fans, if you like the other Pokemon Rumble games, I'd check it out. It's pretty good. But for some reason, my figures came like cut in half because in the shop it was in a terribly poor condition, so I had to get them super glued, which was unfortunate. But well, what are you gonna do? And then just onto a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I got Final Fantasy VIII for the PlayStation 1. And this game is very split. Like I think when it came to reviews, I think it got like top scores like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX did. But then fans, a lot of people dislike this game, and it's probably because the combat system, you don't have magic, you don't have MP, magic points or anything like that. You have to draw magic from your enemies, which I actually kind of liked. It's just like grinding, but instead of grinding for levels, you're grinding for magic, and then you have to junction your summons onto your character, and junction magic to your summons, and then they'll raise your stats that way. So what you end up getting is whatever level your characters actually are, they'll end up all being the same depending on what they're called GFs, but basically whatever summons you junction to them. So like I went through the whole game just leveling up the male characters, and then when I got to the end it's like you got to split off into two parties. But then my characters were all the same anyway, so just had different GFs. Anyway, I enjoyed that aspect. I really liked the drawing magic mechanic and the GF system. Another thing people don't really like is the story. But, you know, I think the story's great. It's a little convoluted, it's a little stupid at some points, but if you can get past the stupid stuff, it's a great game. Excellent RPG, up there with Final Fantasy VII and IX. I prefer 9 and 7 for personal reasons, but this is still a fantastic, one of the best RPGs on the PlayStation 1. Excellent soundtrack. This is one of my favourite soundtracks of all time, one of my favourite Final Fantasy soundtracks. Definitely recommend it. It's even got the card game. The card game was introduced in this Triple Triad, which is so much fun, a whole different game in itself. So I love Final Fantasy VIII just as much as any other Final Fantasy game, and it's highly recommended from me. Love Final Fantasy VIII, definitely. A couple Pokemon games on the Nintendo 64. I got a cool auction on eBay, and I got Pokemon Puzzle League, which I've done a Let's Play of, but I played the Virtual Console version of that. And I did have this physical version as a kid, and now I bought it again. Love Pokemon Puzzle League. It's basically Tetris Attack, but Pokemon style. It's the only anime-based Pokemon game, which, you know, is for better or for worse. But I'm at the point in this game where I'm so good that this is one of the games where just no one beats me at. All my friends, I'm just way too good. There's no contest, and it's a bit stupid when I play with people. But I'm not good enough so I could enter tournaments and stuff. I'd still get my ass kicked. So I hate being in that like limbo. But I love Pokemon Puzzle League. Absolutely excellent game. I got Pokemon Snap for Nintendo 64. Also a great game. And the Pokemon games have fantastic graphics on the Nintendo 64. If you wanted to see at that time when these came out like good graphics, Pokemon games definitely stood out. It's really fun. It's just like, it's kind of like an on-rail shooter for Pokemon, but instead of shooting the Pokemon, you take pictures of them. And originally this was going to be not Pokemon at all, but then no one got the point of the game. So when they added in Pokemon, everyone was like, ah, Pokemon. And then I guess it's sold, and it's a really fantastic game on the Nintendo 64. Love Pokemon Snap. And I also got the original, well not the original, but for Western audiences, this was the original Pokemon Stadium, which came with the Game Boy Transfer Pack. And this is also a good game. I love that you can just rent any Pokemon you want and take them into battle. And also was great graphics. The mini games in this are fantastic. Like the Pokemon battles in 3D is good enough, but then they went the extra mile and added really fun mini games. And the Game Boy Tower. The Game Boy Tower lets you play Game Boy games on your TV. Obviously they had Super Game Boy, but you had this option as well. And then the Gym Leader Tower as well. That's also so much fun, where you just go against all the gym leaders with rented Pokemon, or you can take your Pokemon from Red, Blue or Yellow into the game. Such a great game. Pokemon Stadium, all the Pokemon games in Nintendo 64 are fantastic. I wish they could make a game like Pokemon Stadium now, because Pokemon Battle Revolution, it was okay, but it just didn't really cut it. Just bring back the mini games and I'm sure everyone will be happy. Up for PS2, I got Devil May Cry 2, and haven't played too much of this, but I did play Devil May Cry 1 and reviewed it. Did enjoy it, really good game. From what I've played of this, it's less of the sort of kind of, or Devil May Cry had a survival aspect, kind of survival horror kind of aspect feel to it. Well, not really survival, but just kind of like that dark mode. This is more of just a straight up action game, and I know this is like a lot of fans hate this, but at the moment I haven't really found too much hate. I think the action is improved from Devil May Cry 2, and I really enjoy, you know, just fighting enemies in these games. It's a lot of fun. And it also has a second disc where you can play as a female character. So far I've not seen anything bad about Devil May Cry 2. I don't prefer it to the first one, but maybe I'll play it more and see what's the hate, or maybe I'll enjoy it. And then for the Sega Master System, I picked up Winter Olympics because my brother was selling it. Haven't played it yet, but I'll let you know once I've played it what it's like and if I enjoy it. Fun game. Next on to some Xbox 360 games. I picked up Battlefield Bad Company, and back in the day when, well, not back in the day, I mean I didn't play it when it came out, but my brother had some PS3 at one point and I really enjoyed it. The single player is one of the best military single players ever. It's so top notch, the characters are funny and it makes no sense. It's not just like, oh no, terrorists come in and we have to take them down. No, it's just a couple of characters, they go out hunting for gold. It's not even like military shooter at all, but you're fighting military guns or whatever. So it's in that same genre. The single player is so much fun. I love the single player in this game. Multiplayer as well. I played tons of this on multiplayer. Played it again now, and no, there's just a bunch of arseholes online. Every time I spawn, they just keep killing me. And the multiplayer on this, it's just full of people that they're no fun to play with anymore. So multiplayer is kind of dead on this, unfortunately. But back when I played it, I really enjoyed it. I also picked up Battlefield Bad Company 2, and single player, not as good as the first one, to be honest. The first one was really wacky and cool. This one, again, has taken more of the Modern Warfare route. Which, I mean, I enjoyed Modern Warfare, but I enjoyed Battlefield Bad Company for being different. This one, it feels a lot like Battlefield 3, which is a shame. It uses the same characters, but it's like no acknowledgement to the first game whatsoever. But yeah, the multiplayer is really where this game shines. It adds in a whole new level system and stuff really improved from the first game, and such a great game with tanks and planes and stuff. I really enjoyed playing this back when it was popular. It still is popular a bit, but obviously Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 have taken the limelight. Resident Evil 5 on Xbox 360. Not played much of this copy, but I played it a while back. A couple of years ago now, and I remember not being a huge fan. My favourite Resident Evil was Resident Evil 1 because of the whole mansion setting and the horror aspect and the whole. There's very little zombies in Resident Evil 1, and you have to reserve your ammo and stuff for when there are zombies. But this is completely over the top action based. Resident Evil 4 was going that way, but it still kept a bit of what made Resident Evil good, and even though it was completely different than Resident Evil 1, it was still a fantastic survival horror game. This is not survival horror, it's an action game. It's an okay action game. The co-op, I don't really like. I haven't played the co-op too much. I played the single player with the second person, and it's not my favourite. It's an okay action game, but not a fantastic Resident Evil game. I bought off my brother the Mass Effect games 1 and 2 on Xbox 360. Played Mass Effect 1 a while back and didn't get into it as much as I thought I would. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but then for some reason I just kind of stopped playing. I want to get back into those games because they look like a whole lot of fun. I haven't played the second one yet, and I'm sure that's a lot better than the first one, but I really want to finish the first one so I can play the second one and progress my character. At one point I will play through those games because they look great. And lastly, I got Darkness 2 on Xbox 360, which is the Darkness 1 is one of my favourite games of the last generation. Absolutely love it, love the story, and I was sceptical of this game because it changed the art style, changed the gameplay a bit. It's no longer like a semi-open world game, it's now level based, and the art style is more to do with comic books because this was a Dark Horse comic before it was a game. But besides that stuff, it's still, the gameplay is much better. You get scored on how you kill people now, and the deaths, the way to kill people, the executions are so bloody and violent, so over the top. It's so much fun. The story is even better than the first one. Didn't think it could be, but it really stretched it to new heights. What I don't like is the ending. It's got kind of Halo 2 ending, where it's linking the first one to the third one. So we know there's going to be a Darkness 3 because it leads from a complete huge cliffhanger. But I really enjoyed this game. Didn't enjoy it as much as the first one because I just really love the open world aspect of that one, the semi-open world aspect. But it's a bit short, but it's a fantastic game, so cheap now. Definitely check out the Darkness franchise because I love it. It's one of my favourite franchises to crop up from last gen. Brilliant. Moving on to the last few things now. I picked up a good auction of GameCube games for pretty cheap. Sold off some to my brother because I already had them. But the ones I still kept was Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. And I played this game again as a kid, and remember it being a lot better than it is. It's still got the Spyro gameplay that you know and love from the old Insomniac version, but the controls, the camera, the glitches, it's not the best made game. But the gameplay and the premise behind it is still, you know, the collect all the gems, collect all the dragons, collect dragonflies, and that's still fun. So it's still a good platforming game, but just mechanically it's bad. It's very bad. But if you're a Spyro fan, I would check it out, because you still probably enjoy it for the gameplay. Anyway, Sonic Mega Collection. I have Sonic Mega Collection Plus on PS2, so I just got this for the collection. But it's got all the Mega Drive games, so excellent. Can't beat the Mega Drive Sonics. I got Animaniacs: The Great Edgar Hunt, and I only played a little bit of this. It's a licensed game, which usually are bad to decent. This game is actually pretty decent. The gameplay is, again, it's kind of like Spyro, kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. Go from level to level, collecting stuff and doing different things. But I have no connection with this cartoon because I just didn't watch it. I didn't even hear about this cartoon until I was older, so I didn't even fancy going back and watching it. So it's a shame. But Animaniac fans, it's a good game. That one, I thought it was okay. And then 13, usually you see this out and about on PS2 and Xbox all the time, but never really see it on GameCube, for a good reason as well, because the GameCube controls, first person controls on the GameCube are not too great. Basically what this is, it's a first person shooter game with comic book art style, and it's pretty good. I didn't play a lot of it. It seems a bit hard. You can't really regain health a lot, and the story is really completely over the top. So it's an okay game, and you can get it really cheap on PS2. So if you fancy it, there's that. For Wii, I picked up Trauma Center Second Opinion and Trauma Center New Blood. I got these because they were really cheap, and I love these games. They're really fun, just like Doctor games, but they have like an anime sort of twist to it. They're really fun to play on the Wii. The Wii's controls really make this game something great. It's even got like a little story to it, where you get attached to these characters and stuff. I haven't played New Blood yet because I've just got to play through Second Opinion. I want to pick up the DS ones as well because they look really great. They're the ones that started it all. We've got Tetris Party Deluxe, and it's Tetris and kind of in the style of Tetris DS, which I actually prefer because playing this on a widescreen TV, the actual section where you play the Tetris is like right smack in the middle, so you get this huge dead space. And anyway, it's just like a normal Tetris game. You can play online and stuff, and it's also available on the DS. Tetris DS I absolutely love. Don't love that one as much as Tetris DS, so I've got to go back and get that one day. I've got Zack and Wiki, The Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure, which is like a point and click adventure game with more focus on the adventure. Really great art style, really great kiddie comedy. Only played a little bit of this, and cannot wait to play more because I had a ton of fun playing from what I played. It's actually made by Capcom as well, so hopefully Capcom, maybe bring back this franchise someday on the Wii U. It's a lot of fun, Zack and Wiki, great Wii game. And then lastly for Wii, I got Bit Trip Complete. I'm going to do a review on this game really soon, so I don't want to say too much about it now, but it's a really good throwback game to like the Atari days. A very simple gameplay and a whole lot of fun. And very lastly now, we have like 2 games left. Tearaway on the Vita. Media Molecule, what I kind of see Media Molecule as, they're kind of like the indie blockbuster developer, because they're pushed so much by Sony because their games Little Big Planet, they sell very well. I don't know how well this game sold, but I'm not a huge fan of Little Big Planet just because the premise is good, the creative side of it is great, but the mechanics and the actual platform in itself is not spot on, and that's what I really look for in platforming games. In this game it is. This is a fantastic 3D platformer that really shows just how great the Vita can be, and it's really taken advantage of the Vita's capabilities like no game has before, like with the rear touch screen and even the camera, like you see your face in the sun. This game could not have been done on any other platform other than the Vita, and it really makes it worth it to own a Vita for this game because it's such a great game. My favourite Vita game is Gravity Rush, and this doesn't quite top it, but for a game that shows off what the Vita can do, this is the best one out there, and I definitely recommend Tearaway. Great 3D platformer, excellent. For platforming fans, it's excellent, you have to pick it up. And very lastly, Super Mario 3D World. Again, platform fans, you have to pick this up. This is a must-have for a Wii U, and I might even recommend going out just to get a Wii U for this game, because the cat suit's so much fun, and all the other power-ups they brought back are all great. But the best thing about this game is the level design and the mechanics. You cannot find a game that has a level design just as great as this. Each new level brings up its own mechanic, something that you think, wow, this is so much fun, and then it discards it straight away. There's like so many levels in this game, each with their own new mechanic, and they're all discarded as soon as you play it. Like, there's so much stuff that they've put in this game that each great thing is not even used that much, because it's just replaced with another great thing. So the best thing about this game is that the level design, but the gameplay is so great, the controls are excellent, the characters are so much fun. They brought back their abilities from Mario Bros 2. So I really love playing as Luigi and Peach in this game, and you can collect green stars and stuff. There's so much to do in this game. I didn't complete it because there's way too many levels to complete in this game, but I really enjoyed New Super Mario 3D World. Excellent. If you have a Wii U and you don't have this game, there's something wrong with you, because this is so much fun. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.